Hey guys, welcome back. Hello folks. How are you guys doing today? It's been a long day. Yeah, what's up, Fayon? Hello folks. Please drop a comment down below and let me know what stocks you want me to go over. Per usual, my stream seems to be lagging a bit. But there I am. Hello. You guys want me to go over Palo Alto? It is reporting next week. So, welcome. We have a full house here. Yeah. Roblox and Hood. So we have Osama, Bana, Lynn, Baina, Camille, Kasub, Nubian Rock, Fayon, Stacy K. What's up, folks? Big Berry Eye, SoFi. Did you guys make some money today on Oklo? I called it out. 9:35 a.m. I think I told you. Keep an eye on Oklo above 72.50. We'll review that trade. The rest is history. It was a good trade. I posted that information actually on both servers. You guys know that now I am running a Patreon in English, and I have a server, or I have a Discord server in English. So I posted the information for both communities, Christians and mine as well, and that was a successful trade. Aisha, how are you? Yeah. So Snowflake, yeah, software stocks have been getting annihilated recently. Yep. APLD, is it firming? Head and shoulders. I think that you put it backwards on the daily. We can take a look at that. Yeah, sure. Okay. In the meantime, guys, let's make a summary. By the way, we are trading a put credit spread on APLD. Yeah, I mean that I notified that trade to the members of my Patreon. Yeah, we are trading a put credit spread. I'm afraid, I could be mistaken, but I'm afraid that most of you guys don't know what a put credit spread is, right? Yeah. How do I join your Discord? You have the link in the description box of the video, or in the description box of the live stream. Yeah. Yeah. And since you asked, Osama, let me get that out of my way. You know that I have been working for Chris for something like 4 years, and I have been running my own Patreon in Spanish for 4 years, since a long time. I have a very solid group of traders and investors in my Patreon in Spanish, and since I am an advisor for Chris, many of you guys were signing up for my Patreon in Spanish, so you guys could use both communities, Christians and mine as well. But none of you speak Spanish. None of you speak Spanish. So I ended up. So it was some sort of an uncomfortable situation because you guys were signing up, but you didn't understand anything, and I ended up reimbursing you the subscription that you paid, or that many of you guys paid. And I kept getting messages from you like, "Hey Alvaro, please start a server in English, start a Patreon in English." And that happened for something like 3 years. And I think that 2 months ago, I decided finally to start a Patreon in English. And now I have a Discord in English. So if you want to be in touch with me on a real-time basis. Because, guys, putting up with the messages that you send me on Chris Saint's server is impossible. We are 30,000 people. When I first started working for Chris, we were something like 10,000. It was like more manageable. But as of now, it's impossible. It's impossible. Lucky enough, the community has grown up a lot. I am very proud of belonging to Christian's community. And I am trying to help you guys out as much as I can. Take a look at what happened today with the trade on Oklo, which was an accurate call out. I think that yesterday we were trading Apple, right? On both servers. But when it comes, guys, to answer your questions, it's impossible. I cannot put up with the direct messages on Discord. It is impossible. So that's why I decided to start the the Patreon in English, so you guys can stay in touch with me on a real-time basis, on a daily basis. So if you are interested, remember that you have the link in the description box of the live streams. Okay, that being said, a green day across the board, guys. I am not going to be wasting any time today going over the S&P 500. It doesn't make any sense. Take a look. Russell 2000 up today 3%. The Nasdaq up 1.39%. The S&P up 1%. And the Dow Jones up 1%. You guys know that today the CPI data report came out. And the cooks from the BLS, that's the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I don't know. They, released their monthly information, their monthly lie. Inflation went up on a year-over-year basis, but I think that month-over-month went down. So whatever it is, they ended up liking the report. Take a look. This is a 4-hour chart of the SPY. What can we say here, guys? This is a clear uptrend. Nothing else to say here. Above all the moving averages, today we had another record closing at a new higher high. So can we say anything bearish about the SPY as of now? Nothing. That's it. Will they pull back eventually? Oh, they will. Oh, they will. Recently, we had a 3.4% pullback from 641 down to 619. The dip ended up being bought up. And take a look at what is going on as of now. A brand new all-time high today. Sorry, guys. I kept getting calls and calls and calls. My goodness. The scams are driving me crazy here. So let me just turn down the volume of my phone. Okay. So nothing bearish to say about the SPY. From a seasonality standpoint, September could be a negative month for the markets. We don't know for that. I mean, we cannot. We don't know for sure if that is going to be the case. September is usually a red month. But can the SPY keep going up? Of course it can. Take a look. Why should the SPY go down here, guys? Would be the question. Why? There's no reason to. How higher can the SPY go? 645, 648, 650, 665? I don't know. You set the price you want. The trend is up and the SPY can keep going up. Are we going to have a pullback here eventually? Oh, yes, we will. For whatever reason. But we don't need to guess. We don't need to guess ahead of time when the SPY will pull back. We'll wait until an important level of support is broken to the downside, and then we can short the SPY. We can grab some puts. In the meantime, it's an uptrend. The trend is your friend, and this is a technical short that is under the total control of buyers. Period. Full stop. That being said, let's take a look, guys, at the info. Oh, by the way, and I am in the voice chat of our Discord in English. If any of the members of our Discord in English wants to join me in the voice chat, feel free to do so. I always told you guys about the pivot. I wanted to keep highlighting this information, guys. Take a look at what happened today. So this is Chris Saint server, okay? 7:20 a.m. Good morning. I told you guys. Let me see if I can see it here. Okay, take a look at the time, guys. 9:20 a.m. I told you we had a gap up, or the markets gapped up once the CPI data report came out, and I told you at 9:20 a.m. Okay, guys, watch out for a gap and crap here. 9:20 a.m. Then I said the bulls need to recapture 639.90 at the open. Otherwise, the risk of a gap and crap is high. Let's see what they do at the open. Let's reconcile that information with this 1 day, 1 minute chart of the SPY. Look at that. I'm going to draw a line here, guys, at the pivot, at today's pivot, which was, this was the pivot. I didn't point it out in Crescent server exactly, but I did in our server in English. Take a look. But I let you guys the information regardless, so take a look. This is the channel that I use in my server in order to, let's say, point out levels of the SPY on pretty much a real-time basis. So let me see. Because this is the pivot, as you guys can see here. Take a look. I said, okay, 6:45 a.m. Okay, 6:39.9 is our pivot. Take a look. Take a look at the time. 9:16 a.m. This is the time in which I posted this information on both servers, but I forgot to set in Christian's server that this was our pivot. So above 6:39.90, the door opens for 6:41 for starters. So when I point out the pivot, guys, it has to do with a level that above that level or above that price, the bulls are in control of the tape. So let's say the more likely scenario is having the SPY going higher. But let's reconcile this with what happened, guys. So did the SPY actually turn bullish today once the bulls were able to recapture 6:39.90? Let's reconcile that information with this 1 day, 1 minute chart of the SPY. So this was our pivot, guys. Take a look. 6:39.90. Look. Here. And take a look at how, guys, we saw a first test of the pivot as soon as the trading session opened. Take a look at this. This is important information. Put this down on a sticky note. Look. So the SPY opened at 6:37.94. It went up to our pivot, 6:39.90, and the bulls were rejected right up there. 6:39.90. Rue the penny. How could I know, guys, before the trading session opened, that this level was important? How? Take a look at the time at which we saw the first test. This was 9:40 a.m. What time, or at what time, was Alvaro talking about the pivot? Let's see. Look. 9:16 a.m. for the members of my Discord in English. 9:16 a.m. I was telling you guys before the trading session opened about 6:39.90. And take a look. In the case of Christians, I said it pre-market as well, I think. Yes, 9:20 a.m. for the members of Christian server. Look at this. 6:39.90. Clearly. Let me see here. 9:20 a.m. So what happened, guys? Once we saw a first test, an unsuccessful one, the SPY pulled back. Some of the members of my, I know that some of you guys got puts when you first saw the SPY failing initially at 6:39.90. And what happened, guys? Once the bulls finally burst above our pivot at 10:59 a.m. What happened here, guys? The SPY took off. It took off. Period. Full stop. Look. So once the bulls were able to recapture 6:39.90, what happened? The SPY went up. Look. It went up 0.44%. Almost $3. That's why you need to keep an eye on the pivot. Below the pivot, you have to be careful. Below the pivot, maybe the rug could be pulled out from an intraday basis, from an intraday perspective. And above the pivot, especially if we happen to see the SPY being able to consolidate above the pivot, the bulls take control of the tape. These schematics play out, I would say, 80% of the time. Keep an eye on the pivot on both servers. Chris's and mine here on both servers. Keep an eye on the pivot. And now let's take a look at what happened with Oklo, guys, today. Look. So this is a 1 day, 1 minute chart of Oklo. This is a trade that I called out on both servers. Let's see what happened. Let me go to Chris's, my good friend Chris. Take a look. So, let me see. I told you guys about Oklo at 9:20 a.m. Take a look at the two scenarios that I pointed out pre-market about Oklo, guys. And raise your hand if you made money with Oklo today. Thanks to my call out. Raise your hand. Don't be shy, please. Go ahead. Let me know. That's gasoline for me to keep informing you guys. Okay. So here's the deal. At 9:20 a.m., I told you I am keeping an eye on Oklo. And I pointed out a potential level of support. Take a look at how, guys. I had two potential scenarios. And you should do the same. Having two potential scenarios. So most people only take trades when a stock is going down. Am I right or not, guys? So most of you guys, and this is a mistake, in my opinion, you start a trade when a stock pulls back down to a potential level of support. But there's another scenario in which you can start a trade to the upside, which is a breakout, with buyers being in control of the tape. That's actually, guys, my favorite setup in order to start a trade. If a stock is going down, guys, to a potential level of support, that implies that in minor time frames, sellers are in control. But the opposite happens if you start a trade to the upside with a stock recapturing a potential level of resistance and consolidating above that level. So check this out, guys, because this example of Oklo is very interesting. So I pointed out as a potential level of support $66.60. You guys can see it here, right? You can see it. Okay. Then I also said if Oklo recaptures 72.50, it can keep going. Take a look at the time. Again, 9:20 a.m. Then at 9:35 a.m., I told you guys, because Oklo had already recaptured $72.50. And I said, if Oklo keeps consolidating above 72.50, the door opens for $76.38. I'm super tired, guys. I've been streaming all day long. It's a tough one. Okay, again, if Oklo keeps consolidating above $72.50, the door opens for $76.38. Did this happen, guys, today? Would be my question. Did this information end up playing out? Let's go see. Take a look at $72, and I said, what was the level exactly, guys? 72.50. Look. So this is $72.50. Do you guys happen to see this pink line? This is the 20-day moving average, 20 DMA. The second, the bulls of Oklo recaptured 72.50, but more importantly, started to consolidate above the 20 DMA, 20-day moving average. I purchased 100 shares of Oklo. The rest is history. I actually shared with you guys take a look. This is a trade that I took. I purchased 100 shares at $72.60. Look, I ended up making $162 in a matter of a few minutes. Let's go back here. Look, it consolidated above that level, and the rest is history. No, don't look off. So, again, if you guys are only taking trades with stocks pulling back to a potential level of support, you need to review that. You really need to review that. And obviously, I also take trades with the stocks pulling back down to potential levels of support. But the vast majority of successful trades that I take, guys, are breakout trades with the stocks recapturing a potential level of resistance. That potential level of resistance starts to act like a support or like a potential support, and that's when I start the trade. And Oklo is a very good example of what happened today. And as I can tell, yeah, most of you guys, a lot of you guys, were able to take this trade the way that I am describing it here. And I think that yesterday we did Apple, right? Am I right about that? Let me see. This was August 12th. No, this was today. Yeah, we did Apple, guys. Look, this was. So let me see. I told you the gap on the field. If you can, let me see. And there it is. So, yeah. So and take a look at what happened yesterday with Apple, guys. Yesterday, in the case of Apple, we did the opposite. I started the trade at a potential level of support. So let's see what I said here, guys. So closing for 228. Let me see, 225. So closing candles above 225 opens the door for 228. So, and this was 939. Yeah, take a look. Apple pulled back down to 225. Look, this is a screenshot from yesterday. And here's where we opened the trade. Apple pulls back, finds support at 225, which was a previous level of resistance, and then it took off. But you need to know how to take trades at either potential levels of support or with the stock breaking out of a potential level of resistance. And this was done live, guys, yesterday. And today as well. Yesterday, a pullback down to a potential level of support, and today the trade on Oklo was a good one. Yep. Got my first profit from you. Awesome. Sudden. Okay. Awesome. There you go. Okay. So what stocks you want me to go over? So, long story short, guys, keep an eye on my call outs on Chris Saint's server. And needless to say, the members of my Patreon in English, they are being informed on a real-time basis about what is going on in the markets, and they can ask me whatever they want because we have the main chat. Take a look. I am interacting with them pretty much like minute by minute during the trading sessions. Yeah, this has been very fun. Yeah, very, very fun. And I'm still obviously running my Patreon in Spanish, guys, and believe it or not, as I am answering questions from the members of my Patreon in English in our Discord server in English, I am live streaming for the members of my Patreon in Spanish. So I am doing like 1 million things at the same time. That's why when I go live for you on Tuesdays, I'm like super tired. Yeah, I'm doing 1 million things at the same time. Yeah. Okay. Soundhound AI. Let's go over Soundhound AI. What do we see here? Let's go see. Soundhound. Wow, this chart is looking very, very, very good. Up today 0.50% and closed the trading session at $16. A bit extended here. I wouldn't chase Soundhound at these levels. It's approaching a potential level of resistance at $17. This is a previous level of resistance back from early February. As you guys can see, Soundhound failed right at $15. $16. We can round it up. $17 on 2 occasions in, as I said, late January, early February. Late January, early February. So an important potential level of overhead supply or a potential level of overhead resistance. I wouldn't chase it here. The chart looks good. What about a pullback down to this previous level of resistance back from yesterday? This could be a level at which buyers could be showing up, $14.25. The stock is in an uptrend above all the moving averages, upward sloping 5 DMA, above the 20, the 250, 100-day moving average. So don't chase it here. I wouldn't bet on Soundhound bursting above this level, $17. I would wait for other market participants to do the hard job of finding out if maybe Soundhound can burst above $17. So say that Soundhound effectively or actually bursts above $17. Say that Soundhound starts closing candles above $17. That would be a trading which I would be interested in. Yeah. So a major level of resistance would have been taken out by the buyers, by the bulls. So say that Soundhound consolidates above $17. This could open the door potentially for more upside. The next potential gap could be a former level of support at $19. Previous level of support for Soundhound back from late December of last year. So closing candles above $17, I might be interested in the trade. Otherwise, I would wait for a pullback maybe down to this previous level of resistance, $14.20. Say that level of resistance, that previous level of resistance breaks to the downside. So say that it doesn't act as support. Keep an eye on the Ryzen 5-day moving average in white, 5 DMA, $13.34. it's a good looking short that is implying that we might have higher prices on deck for Soundhound. Let me take a look at the market structure of SOUN. Let's go see. And you guys know that this is a retail darling, and I think that Soundhound recently reported, right? Let me see. Yeah, it reported, and I guess that the report was better, came out better than expected because the stock has gone up in a vertical line, bro. It's headed to the moon. So this is a retail darling, guys, and when we have retail darling stocks that are in an uptrend, usually when we see pullbacks, those pullbacks end up being bought up. So I guess that in regular market conditions, a pullback down to $14.30 or maybe the 5 DMA, $13.40 could end up being bought up. Yeah, that's what happens in the clown market that we are as of now, guys. Retail darling stocks or retail darling stock dips end up being bought up. Let me see if I have the market structure of Soundhound. Guys, I gotta tell you, I have a confession to make, because we actually we actually took a trade today on Oklo. For me, it was amazing. Yeah, what happened yesterday when the earnings report of Oklo came out, it was amazing. I have a confession to make here. So, did you guys know that Oklo reported yesterday, and they reported zero revenue? Zero. Any of you guys that have a regular job out there, whatever you do, you're making more money than Oklo. Did you know that? Whatever you do, I don't know. Maybe you work at a McDonald's, or I don't know. You work at a shop at a Walmart. Maybe you're working at Walmart. Any of you guys is making more revenue than Oklo. And take a look at what happened yesterday, guys. Impressive. So sometimes, guys, you need to understand the environment that is taking place in the markets. So take a look at Oklo. So the company reports zero revenue. Zero. Take a look. Let me pull up here a 5-day, 5-minute. Take a look. The stock dipped down to $66, and the dip was bought up. Unbelievable. Zero revenue. This is an absolute speculative company. Absolute. And take a look at this, guys. This company makes zero revenue. And take a look at the market capitalization of Oklo. Let me see if I can pull it up here on Yahoo Finance. Check this out, guys. What is the statistics? This company has a market capitalization of $10.5 billion. Unbelievable. And the company makes zero revenue. Goes down $5, and the dip ends up being bought up. So that's what I'm telling you about Soundhound. In regular market conditions, this stock goes down, and it is very likely to come across with buyers. Yeah, it's possible. At $14.40 or maybe $13.38. Let me pull up here some anchor VWAPs to see if we can see another. So the confession that I was about to make that I didn't tell you guys about. I got pissed yesterday. Pissed. Unbelievable. How is it possible that this company makes zero revenue, has a market cap of billions of dollars, and the dip ends up being bought up? I got pissed. Yeah, I gotta be honest with you, and that's why I started a trade today on Oklo. Okay, Soundhound. So I got mad when I saw that. It was like, wow, what a clown market, bro. Unbelievable. Soundhound, take a look. An anchor VWAP, an anchored volume weighted average price line that comes from all-time highs, is signaling as of now $12.59. So what's the message that this anchored volume weighted average price line is sending us? Well, that the average market participant that started a position in Soundhound, this was back in December of 2024 at $25, as of now has an average price of $12.28. So this is a potential level of what? Of support. These market participants that as of now have winning positions on Soundhound could be defending price in case Soundhound pays a visit down to this level, $12.33. Let me reconcile that. Anchor VWAP. We are looking pretty much at this previous high, guys, which is very close to the 5 DMA. Yeah, the 5 DMA is signaling $13.40. And take a look. This previous level of resistance at which Soundhound felt at back in mid-July is signaling pretty much $13. So this is a potential level of support between the 5 DMA, $13.30, and $12.70. And again, this is a momentum stock, a meme stock, another, artificial intelligence is going to the moon bra stock. This thing pulls back, and the dip might end up being bought up. There you go. Okay, what other stock are you guys asking about? APLD. Let's go ahead and take a look at APLD. Let's go see. Oh, my bad. Oh, what is going on here? Okay. APLD. By the way, we started a trade on Friday, guys. A put credit spread on APLD. Let me show you. I started this trade with the members of our Patreon in English. Do you know what's a put credit spread? Take a look. $44 of profit. Where are the members of our Discord in English? We're making some money here, guys. Take a look. This is a bullish strategy. Take a look. We sold a put and we bought a put. And this trade expires on Friday. We are already making $44 here, guys. In what we can say is a low risk strategy. If you know what you're doing, take a look. $44. Good job for the members of our Patreon in English. I should be close. We could close this position even tomorrow, depending on what happens. So Applied Digital has been going up, and that's the reason why this put credit spread is making money as of now. Yeah, we're making money there. Awesome. So let me pull up here a 4-hour short of APLD, Applied Digital. Very good looking short, guys. APLD went up today 6% and closed the trading session at $15. So $15. Guys, this is a stock that I am very familiar with. And I've been telling you, because this is a stock that I've been reviewing on my most recent live streams. This stock is about, in my opinion, is about to make a major breakout to the upside. Take a look at this weekly chart. What do you see here? So all-time highs for APLD is $34. APLD made this all-time highs back in October of 2021. Take a look at what could potentially happen if this stock bursts above and can consolidate above this previous level of resistance, $15.20. Because if you take a look at a 4-hour chart, it looks very good, but we can tell that this stock is about to make a test of an important level of potential resistance, $15, as you guys can see here. But what happens? So if you see the 4-hour chart, anyone could think that should this stock consolidate above $15, it would be entering into no man's land, uncharted territory. That isn't the case, guys. Take a look. This stock consolidates, or is able to consolidate above $15, and it could be off to the races significantly, guys. What could be the next potential gap to the upside? $20. Previous support back from October of 2022. This technical chart is starting to look very, but very, very, very good. Above all the moving averages, above the 100, 200, 50, 20, 5-day moving averages. This was a very good call out from Chris, from my friend Chris. He told you guys to buy APLD at $8 or $9. It was a very good call out. The stock has been going up, so, good job there for Chris. What trade would I be interested in starting here, guys? Above $15. Not chasing it here. I am not So when I trade a breakout, guys, I wait for other market participants to do the hard job. What hard job? The hard job of having a stock breakout from a potential level of resistance. So am I going to be starting a position on APLD, taking a gamble on the fact that this stock will burst above $15? No. I would let others do that hard job. So my trade would be either APLD already, being able to burst above $15, and by doing so, being able to also consolidate above $15. That would be a potential trade to the upside, or I would wait for a pullback, maybe down to this previous level of resistance back from mid-July. That is pretty much coinciding with a rising 20-day moving average in pink. Say that this stock pulls back down to $12.50. I would be interested in potentially buying the dip over there on APLD, $12.60. Let me take a look at the market structure of APLD. What do we see here? APLD. Do I have this market structure available? Let me see. I don't. Surprisingly enough, I don't have it available. No, right? Do I? I don't have the market structure available. And if we take a look, let me see some anchor VWAPs, anchored volume weighted average price lines here. Apply digital. Take a look, guys. This stock seems to be off to the races. And look at this. An anchored volume weighted average price line that comes from all-time highs for APLD, again, $33-ish in 2021, is signaling as of now $7.80. What does that imply? That if I know that the average market participant that started the position on APLD at its highest price has, as of now, an average cost on those positions of $7.69, that implies that for the most part, guys, and as a general rule of thumb, there are little to none market participants with positions on APLD or with losing positions on APLD. This thing consolidates above $15 in regular market conditions, and buckle up, I think that the risk is to the upside. Yep, in my opinion. SoFi has been going up a lot. So someone is asking about Macy's. Over there, up today 5%, closed the trading session at $12.73. Keep an eye on the 20-day moving average. So as of now, Macy's, or M, is consolidating above the 100, the 50, the 5, the 20 DMA. The 20 DMA is signaling $12.50. Say that this stock consolidates above $12.50. Maybe the door opens for a potential test of the 200-day moving average. Take a look at the slope. This is important, guys. Take a look at the slope of the 200 DMA, 200-day moving average. It is downward sloping. It is pushing price down. The slope of the moving averages is very important, super important. And this is something that, I guess that I must be sounding like a broken record. When you guys see a moving average upward sloping or rising, that implies that that moving average could be potentially pushing price up. On the flip side, when you see a moving average downward sloping, that implies that potentially that moving average could be pushing price down. And take a look at how this 200 DMA has been a brutal level of resistance, or a brutal resistance, has acted as a brutal resistance for the bulls. Take a look. Take a look at the red line. This is a 200-day moving average. Every single one of you, in my opinion, should be using the 200-day moving average. Take a look. So Macy failed right at this 200-day moving average in in late December and early January of this year. We saw another test of the 200 DMA, of the downward sloping 200 DMA recently. This was back in late July. It failed again. And what could happen now? What could happen if we see another test of this downward sloping 200 DMA at $13.60? Would it be another unsuccessful test? It could be the case. So if you start a trade here above the 20 DMA, $12.50, maybe your gap filled, and therefore your profit taking level could be $13.67. Some people say that nothing good happens below a downward sloping 200 DMA. I will leave it. I will leave it there. Just saying. SoFi, my blowfi. Let's go over SoFi. Wow, this stock has been a beast, and I think, guys, that in our Discord in English, because we are also posting unusual options alerts, we told you guys about an unusual call option alert of SoFi last week that ended up playing out. Let me see if I can see it here. And this is, what is it, August 7th? I think, because we day traded SoFi last week, but I don't know. I don't see the alert here. I would like to show you guys the alert. No, I don't see it. Well, I will owe you guys this information. But if I remember correctly, we got an unusual collapse. Here it is. Take a look. Let's evaluate this, guys. So, on August 6th, look, in our Discord in English, we notified that the day before, so this was on August 5th, someone invested $910,000 on SoFi's call options expiring on March 20th of 2026 with a strike of $30. Do you believe, or do you guys think that this unusual call option alert did play out? Take a look at the date. August 6th. So let's reconcile this information with the technical chart of SoFi and take a look at the strike price, guys. $30. Take a look at the expiration date. Super bullish. March 20th of 2026. So someone is expecting SoFi to be way higher in early 2026. So that alert was posted on the 6th. Let me see. Okay, take a look. So it was posted here, guys. Look. So the members of our Discord were notified about that alert pre-market on the 6th of August. So SoFi opened that trading session at $21.41. So take a look. Lo and behold, look, SoFi has gone up 11% since that unusual collapse alert was notified. Wow. I actually remember that last week, I don't know what day, I don't know if it was on the 6th or the 7th, we did traded SoFi based on that unusual collapse alert. So if we take a look at a 4-hour chart of SoFi, what's not to like here, guys? Above all the moving averages, a brand new all-time high. Sorry, a brand new higher high here. This is not an all-time high. Almost a brand new 52-week high above the 200, 150, 20-day moving average. The 5 DMA is starting to rise again. So what's the next potential gap to the upside here in the case of SoFi? $25. Can SoFi fill this gap right away? It can. It can. Sure. So this is where the rip got faded once SoFi reported earnings on the 29th. $25. Yeah, very good looking chart. Would I start a position in SoFi betting on a gap filled up to $25 right away? Maybe not. Maybe not. But what about a pullback down to, I don't know, maybe the 20-day moving average? What if we were to pull back down to the 20 DMA? Is the line that you guys can see in pink? Say that SoFi pulls back down to $21.70. Previous level of resistance that acted as such on multiple occasions. The 20 DMA is rising, so I would be a buyer probably of a dip on SoFi down to $22, $21.70, $21.90, $22. If we round it up, this is a very, very, very good looking chart. So, and mind you guys, let me pull up here a major time frame. Say that SoFi takes out $25 here. All-time highs is $27. Yeah, so SoFi went up to 27 bucks. When was it? February of 2021. This is a very, very, very good looking chart. Let me take a look at the supply and the demand of SoFi. I'm not going to take a look at the markets at anchor VWAPs because this stock is pretty much trading at all-time highs. So we didn't have, important levels of overhead supply or resistance above the current price of SoFi. Take a look at the market structure. So this is interesting, guys. This is a market structure chart. What you guys can see on top is the demand of SoFi or buyers, and at the bottom, the supply or sellers. The demand is going down and the supply is going up. So this is a market structure chart that we cannot reconcile with this 4-hour chart of SoFi that I just showed you guys. Why is it? Because in this 4-hour chart of SoFi, we can see a rising 5-day moving average. This technical chart looks very, but very, very, very good. Since the demand is going down, demand or buyers is going down, we could expect potentially, I never speak in absolute terms about the markets, we could expect a bit of profit taking here before SoFi fills potentially this gap up to $25 because the demand is going down. So we could expect a bit of profit taking. SoFi has gone up a lot recently, as I just showed you guys, reconciling the technical chart of SoFi with the unusual collapse alert that we posted on Discord last week. So maybe we can see a bit of profit taken here. So SoFi takes a rest, goes down to this 20-day moving average. This level could be acting as support now, $22, and maybe from 22 bucks, SoFi could be headed up to $25. Very good looking chart. I would be a bit concerned about the market structure because ideally we never want to see the demand going down and the supply rising. The supply isn't rising actually. Yeah, it is rising actually. Yeah, this is not a good looking market structure chart. So let's see if we see a bit of profit taken here, or maybe guys with this market structure showing us that the demand of SoFi is going down, maybe SoFi fills this gap up to $25 right away, and it fails initially at $25. Could be the case. Do you think SoFi will hit 30 by January 20th? Yeah, above $25, it could be the case. Sure. Yeah. Well, this was a very detailed analysis of SoFi. Let me take a look. We are 47 minutes in. There you go. Tesi. Let's go see Tesi. Up today 0.53%, and it closed the trading session at $340.84. Guys, Tesla has to take out, or the bulls of Tesla have to burst above 347 bucks. They failed right at that level yesterday and pretty much today. Look, 347 bucks. Say that Tesla, I don't know, maybe it gaps up. If you guys happen to see Tesla consolidating above 347, then the door could open for 360 upside. Yeah, it is a good looking chart in general terms, above all the moving averages, rising 5 DMA, above the 200, 20, 50, 100 day moving average. This is a very good looking chart. In case of a pullback, let me draw a line here over the 5 DMA and take a look. The 5 DMA is coinciding with a previous level of resistance at which Tesla failed on July 28th. And this 5 DMA is signaling $320. And take a look at the slope of the 5 DMA. It is rising. It is a potential level of support, 330. Tesla could be bouncing back up from that level. It is a good looking chart. Yeah, it is. It looks like higher prices are potentially coming up for Tesla. Let me take a look at the market structure of Tesla. What do we see here? Well, the market structure looks promising. Again, guys, take a look. Demand. What is the demand for a stock? Buyers. Take a look at the supply. Sellers. Demand, buyers, supply, sellers. The demand is rising. We can say that the level of the supply is also starting to rise, but look at how the level of the demand is higher relative to the level of the supply. So above 348-ish. we have higher prices on deck for Tesi. Yep. What else? Okay. Anchor VWAPs. Now there's nothing important to say about anchor VWAPs. Tesla is pretty much trading above all the important anchored volume weighted average price lines that we can point out. Look, TSLA. Let me see. Tesi. Look, yeah. So an anchored volume weighted average price line that comes from all-time highs is signaling $310. So the average market participant that started the position in Tesla at $487 at all-time highs in mid-December of last year has an average price of $313. And if we take a look at an anchor VWAP that comes from the date from the presidential election last year in November, another important date for Tesi, well, that anchor VWAP is signaling $316. So if we know, guys, that the average market participant that started the position on Tesi at all-time highs at $486 in December of last year has an average price of $311, what does that imply? That for the most part, everyone that ever started a position on Tesi ever is making money as of now. That implies that we don't have very important levels of overhead supply above the current price of Tesla that could be acting as resistance. Does that imply that Tesla headed back to all-time highs nonstop in a vertical line, bro? No. But above 348, 347, the risk is to the upside here. Yep. What else? What other stocks do we see here? Apple. Let's go see Apple, guys. Let me see. Or no, I have Palo Alto. PANW comes first. PANW. So, wow, what a recovery today for PANW. It's going up after hours. So, up today 4% and closed the trading session at $175.40. Be careful here with PNW, guys. Why is it? Because it is reporting earnings next week. So the implied volatility rises. So, in other words, you shouldn't be buying options of PNW now because this company is reporting earnings on the 18th. So if you buy call options, either calls or puts for that matter, as of now, you're paying a very high price for those options because the implied volatility rises ahead of an earnings report. So the expected move for this report is, the expected move is 8%. That implies that PAW next week, depending on the reaction of the markets through the report, could be going either up or down. How much? Wow, this is going to be a roller coaster ride, guys, next week. Yeah. $16 is the expected move. So we have a big, a big push to either the upside or the downside coming up for Palo Alto, so don't touch it here. You shouldn't. You should not. Still not a good looking short below the 50, the 20-day moving average, 100, 200 DMA. The bulls recaptured the 5 DMA, which is positive. So say that Palo Alto, and Palo Alto was having issues, guys, at 175. It's been having issues at $175. Say that tomorrow this stock consolidates above 175. Maybe the door opens for a test of the convergence. This could be a potential tough level for the bulls because at between 187, guys, and 185, it's a two-back zone. We have pretty much coinciding the 200-day moving average or 200 DMA, 100 DMA, and 20 DMA. This could represent a potential resistance zone between 187 and 185. Can this gap get filled right away? It can, as long as Palo Alto can consolidate above 175, which is a level at which this stock has been struggling recently. And yeah, don't do much with Palo Alto. We have a 16 buck move taking place next week. So yeah, this is not a stock that you guys should be trading. Let me see if the market structure says something positive, because this stock got annihilated recently because they are going to be acquiring another cybersecurity company, and the markets initially didn't like the news. Yeah, take a look. So we cannot trust yet the rally that we are seeing on Palo Alto as of now. Why do I say that? Because take a look at the market structure, guys. The demand is still going down. The supply is starting to go down as well, which could be signaling a potential situation of sellers' exhaustion. It's possible. But ideally, guys, when we have a stock that has been going down consistently, which is the case of Palo Alto, we want to see the demand starting to go up, and that isn't the case as of now. So I don't know if this stock fills this gap up to 186, 188 right away. With that market structure that we are seeing, I think that rally could end up being faded, in my opinion. Yeah, and let's wait. We'll see what happens with the earnings report. Yeah. Which indicator is the anchor VWAP? It's the anchor VWAP, Stacy. Yeah, it's an anchored volume weighted average price line. It's an indicator that you use in order to visualize what's the average price of the average market participant that started a position on a stock from a specific date. So it helps you to determine where are either buyers or sellers trapped, with either unrealized gains or unrealized losses. So if you happen to see buyers trapped above the current price of a stock, those buyers represent a potential level of overhead supply or resistance. If, on the flip side, you visualize an anchor VWAP below the current price of a stock, that implies that those buyers are making money. So in case of a pullback of that stock down to that anchor VWAP that is below the current price of that stock, those buyers could be potentially defending price. Yeah. In the case of Palo Alto, let's go see Palo Alto. This could be a good example. Let me see. PANW. Let's go see an anchor VWAP for Palo Alto, guys, since the April low. So take a look. When we had the tiny bear market back in April, when President Trump went guns blazing on tariffs before he started to tackle, Palo Alto went down to $143. So look, the average market participant that was able to buy the dip at $143 and that kept adding to that position has an average price as of now of $183. So the average market participant that comes from that date is losing money as of now, has an average price of $183. What do you believe those market participants, or I would say the vast majority of them, would do when Palo Alto goes up to, if that ever happens again, it could, I guess, if Palo Alto goes up to 183? What are they likely to do? What are you guys likely to do when you're losing money on any position, and that position suddenly, let's say that either turns positive or you guys see the position breaking even? What do you do? Before I go over Google, let me see. Oh, an hour in. Let's go over Google, guys. Guys, so in the case of Google, this is an interesting, this is a good example, guys, of how the sentiment of the markets this is a very good example of how the sentiment of the markets can change super rapidly. So 2 months ago, Alphabet was dead. This was a victim of OpenAI. Alphabet wasn't going to be an artificial intelligence player. This company was going to be disrupted. Yada, 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 yada. And take a look at what is going on as of now. Alphabet goes up 1.25% and it closed the trading session at $204.16. This technical chart is saying that potentially this stock could be testing all-time highs sooner rather than later. Above all the moving averages, above the 100, 50 DMA, 200 DMA, 20 DMA. And take a look at the slope of the 5-day moving average. It is clearly rising. This is a very good looking chart, and take a look at how the sentiment changed all of a sudden. Now Alphabet will not be disrupted by OpenAI and Perplexity and whatever it is. So sometimes, guys, you need to be aware of the sentiment of the markets, or I would say that you need to be aware of the sentiment of the net aggregate opinion of the markets in regard to an individual stock or in regard to a sector. Take a look at what is going on with healthcare. Healthcare stocks just cannot catch a break. They can't. Take a look at what is going on with software stocks. What software stocks am I talking about here, guys? IBM, Snowflake, Salesforce. What else? Monday.com. And you name it. So if you want to buy the dip of a stock that is going down a lot, you need to ask yourselves, what is going on with this stock? What is going on with this sector? If you know that the sentiment is sour, you have to stay away from those stocks. Unless, I don't know, maybe you want to start a position at a long term because you see value in the company or whatever it is. And Alphabet is the perfect example of that. And that's what we use technical charts for. And that's why I use the 5-day moving average for, in order to determine what's the sentiment of the net aggregate opinion of the markets in regard to a stock. If I see a stock that is trading above all the moving averages with a rising 5 DMA, rising 20 DMA, rising 50 DMA, and above the 200 and the 100-day moving average, I know that obviously, guys, the net aggregate opinion of the market is favorable. But you do the opposite, guys. You go and... So instead of seeing, some of you guys, instead of seeing an opportunity on Alphabet, which could potentially be headed to all-time highs, you go ahead and pull up a chart of, I don't know, what can I say here? Let me see. Lily. Take a look at this. What a disaster. Take a look at this. The sentiment is negative in regard to healthcare stocks. Avoid trading these kind of stocks. That's what we have the technical charts for. Take a look at Lily, guys. What a disaster. What a disaster. Below all the moving averages, downward sloping 5 DMA. Stay away from these kind of stocks, guys. And going back to Google. Can this thing go up to 211? It's perfectly possible. Yeah, very good looking chart. Would I chase it here? Would I start a trade on Google here? Yeah, maybe. Consolidating above the rising 5 DMA, $200? Yeah. It looks like we have all-time highs on deck for Google. Let me take a look at the market structure of GOOG. Let's go see. And say that you want to buy. You say that you want to do a bit of bottom picking. Let's just put it that way. Say that maybe you're interested in buying the dip on Lilly or buying the dip on United Health. Wait for the 5 DMA to rise. Wait until buyers show you that they are stepping in minor time frames. But don't buy stocks such as Lilly below all the moving averages. I guess that you guys know what I'm talking about. Google, market structure. The demand is flat. The supply is the supply is also flattish, I would say. So it's a tie. It is a tie between the demand and the supply from a market structure standpoint. Above all the moving averages, the trend is your friend. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, of course, if the markets keep rising, the SPY rising, the Qs rising, and stuff like that, that could be the case. Why not? I wouldn't be surprised of seeing all-time highs for Alphabet coming up 211 approximately. And the sentiment here changed. We'll see if that actually happens with software stocks, healthcare stocks. We'll see what happens. Yeah, those stocks look ugly. Yeah, but this is a very good looking chart. Well, guys, first for me, awesome, Naomi, welcome. Naomi Coutinho, there you go, Nana. Yeah, guys, I gotta go. It's been a long day, taking care of my 2 servers, Discord servers, narrating the training session live for the members of my Patreon in Spanish. It's been a long day. We are an hour and 6 minutes in. So, so keep an eye on Discord. I will be back tomorrow with the pivot and with call outs. So good job, guys, on with Apple on Monday. Good job today on Oklo. And yeah, we'll see if the markets keep going up or they pull the rug out. Yeah, they will pull the rug out. They will pull the rug out eventually, guys. Be careful if you're trading with the markets at all-time highs. Be careful. Be conservative. Don't go all in. We are trading at all-time highs, record close in the SPY, or record close in the S&P 500, record close in the Qs. Be careful. Be careful. When the markets are trading at all-time highs, you have to be careful. And don't go all in because they will not send us a memo when they pull the rug out. And they will. But we don't need to guess the day. Okay? Thanks, guys. And you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye. Take care. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Bye. God bless you. Bye-bye. Thanks.